Guys, the American dream is dying. And I'm sitting here in Greece. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm here with Sarah, my American friend, and Marie, my beautiful Aussie wife. And we're discussing how that dream is dying and what it looks like, why we left our home countries.
Let's just dive in. So, as an Australian, I have opinions of why I think you guys are leaving America and going overseas to like my home country or other places.
So we actually have an amazing story of how we met, and it leads to the point of why so many Americans are leaving is because there is lately a lack of community, a lack of friendship. So I was actually living in Bali at the time, and I walked into my new villa and I had met Dustin and Marie. We were all sitting on the couch working, and all of a sudden, you know, when you're that far away from your home country and you hear another accent that is similar to your own, you typically gravitate towards that. And so immediately I heard Dustin and I knew, okay, this is an American. And I think that people don't do that in America. Everybody is stuck on their phones. They're at the coffee shop. They're looking down. You're not striking up random conversations with people. And so when I met Dustin and Marie, our friendship blossomed immediately. And we have been traveling the world together and we meet in different places. We have a friendship that goes across borders. And I can't say that in America, I have friends where I have just basically started a conversation out of nowhere and then all of a sudden we became lifelong friends. The community in America, we are really lacking a deep sense of friendship. We are lacking a deep sense of family. And that is one of the reasons why people are leaving.
But do you think it's because you guys don't feel safe talking to strangers or just walking up to talking to people?
I don't think that we have an emphasis on community in America. I think that our culture, and this will bring us to our second point, is that our culture is so much more revolved around working, around just the rat race. You know, we don't prioritize community. We don't prioritize. I mean, the first night that we met, we went out to dinner.
That's right.
And we immediately started making plans with one another. And
Yeah.
I have never had that experience unless you're in some small town America. But even then, talking to other people that are from small towns, a lot of times that's degrading as well. And in Europe and Bali, in places that I have lived in, Thailand, all over the world, people are much more friendly, they're kind, they're open, and they want to talk to you and find out what your story is, no matter what. They hear a different accent and it's like an immediate catalyst for conversation.
Something I discovered after moving out of the US was the difference in food quality. So I grew up on a family farm. We had great food growing up. We had great food options, but not everybody else in the US has that. And it has a ripple effect into your health, into your energy, into your whole livelihood. And my life revolves around food. That's why I love to travel. All the food, all the drinks, all the experiences and the different cultures, but food. And in my family, it was always the same way. We had a big family. Everything revolved around the family dinners. And moving abroad, the quality of food is a million
so much better.
times better.
So much better.
You actually get fresh orange juice. They actually juice it.
Squeeze it right in front of
when
you.
you order it. That's amazing.
Yes.
There is no fat. Like the fastest food that you're gonna get is maybe here in Greece is some Greek yogurt with some strawberries and berries. Like there is no McDonald's. There is no concept of fast eating, and that's not just in Greece where we are right now. That's in a lot of countries.
I also think it's the price point too. From what I know from America, also in Australia, the quality of food, if you want good quality food, it's so expensive. But even if you just get normal food, it's still expensive, but unhealthy for you.
But not good. Yeah.
When you can go overseas and it's just like half price and it's all fresh.
Yes, and we've been over the last year. We've been in 9 countries. Over the last 3.5 years that I've been gone from the U.S., I've been in 20 countries, and I can confidently say that the food quality in all of those other countries is better than the quality that you find in the U.S.
Unfortunately, our food supply in America is poison.
It is poison. That's a good way to put it.
That's actually a good reason to leave.
Yeah. So the next reason that's that was a big reason for me was your health and healthcare. I mean, we're talking about going to the doctor for $50. And as somebody who used to be an executive for a pharmaceutical company, I will remain nameless on that. Different part of my life, different time. But just seeing the way and really looking at the economics of healthcare within our country and how we are not focused on the cause. We really just want to keep people sick. We are a profit-driven healthcare ecosystem. We are not a solutions-based healthcare system. And I see people, again, we are in, Santorini, we are in one of the top blue zones of the world. It's just a completely different culture when it comes to healthcare, and you don't see people who are overweight. That is a rare thing over here. So I think the cost of healthcare, the causation of healthcare, the ineffectiveness of our healthcare system in the US is another reason why so many people are leaving, why I left, because I just don't think that giving medication to somebody who has a greater problem is the answer. And people are still using in places, like Thailand and foreign countries that have a more holistic medicinal approach. They're using medicines that have been around for thousands of years.
And then some of them are just natural.
It's all natural.
It's all natural,
Walking into the pharmacy. You walk into the pharmacy overseas, especially Southeast Asia, as we've mentioned, it's full of, there are a few pill bottles, but it's full of all of the natural things.
Yeah, and we're having press conferences on how we're reducing the cost of these huge diabetes drugs, and everybody's excited about that. I'm like, wait, there's a problem here.
Yeah.
We need to get a hold of our food. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why when you go to Mexico, or when you go to Canada, or when you go to other healthcare systems, you are going to, even in Thailand or Turkey, people are now going to Turkey because to get a full physical, MRIs, the whole works, it's $1,000, and that would cost $30,000 in America.
That's just crazy.
It's profit.
I
That's
can't
all
even
it is
comprehend
profit.
that.
Money.
Because in Australia, our healthcare is really good, but I wouldn't say the medicine's poisoning us and stuff, but I feel like we are learning from you guys, and we will follow America, so eventually we will get there. But at the stage, our healthcare is not too bad, but your healthcare, every time you guys tell me, even going in an ambulance to go to the hospital, you have to pay for that. Sorry.
That's crazy. One of the really big reasons I left the US was costs. My daily life was expensive, and I live in a small market, a medium market of Kansas City. So the costs aren't even that high on a national scale like they are in Arizona or California or New York. But my monthly costs for accommodation, like where I'm living, my car insurance, fuel to fill up my car, and repairs and grocery costs, and all of those things were just astronomical. I was spending $6,000 or $7,000 a month on just my expenditures. And then you add in the fun things like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Spotify and all of the things, and it just became too much. And I realized after traveling, when I went to Mexico for a month just to see if I could live overseas, I realized my expenses went way down. And I came back, I ended my lease, I cut all of my expenses except for one storage unit that I put all my stuff into. And my bills are down to a cell phone bill and a few other, little costs. That's it. It's amazing.
I think it goes towards another point, right? It's just the lifestyle.
Get the stuff.
The lifestyle and the fact that we as Americans have become so focused on consumerism. So that consumerism, especially where I live in Scottsdale, Arizona, having to constantly keep up with those Joneses. There's consumerism being thrown in your face at every single turn. So it's like then the costs just keep on rising, and we do have a problem with cost of living. I mean, people say all the time that I make $150,000 and I feel like I'm making 60. Our money, both as millennials, Gen Zers, is going less far than it ever has before. And the medium, I just saw a report the other day that the medium home buy price has risen, as well the age has risen to above 40.
Wow.
So we have a problem. We can't afford, especially if you have a family, especially if you're just trying to make it by, the cost of living, and then the culture of consumerism is just getting worse and worse and worse. And when in other countries, I think you see that not only people, they just value different things, but it's not pushed in your face so much. I mean, we're living out of suitcases, and people don't care. People like designer bags, you know,
the latest
jewelry, like the things that people are wearing.
Do you think it's because America, you're kind of ingrained to the idea of consumerism and buying, since living there, being born there, and it's like this lifestyle?
It's a status symbol. All of that, designer labels. It's a status. It's how someone can see from the outside, like, I have a lot of money, or I've done things to get me to this place where I can afford these things. Don't tell me what's in your bank account, but what does your best friend say about you? You know, what is your wife's like versus the amount of money that you have it. Like, so our value systems are shape shifting. And again, I think that there's a little bit more wholesomeness when you get out of the country and start to see that people value community.
I also think if you travel as well, since you guys all moved out America, that you realize you're living in suitcases and you just don't need a lot of stuff. Because after I went to do the whole digital nomad thing, I realized I've been living everything off this suitcase, and I got home, I'm like, I don't need this stuff. I really don't. So that's why I was selling everything. So
I moved from the biggest U-Haul, like the biggest one that you could get from Texas, when I had a 4-bedroom house, and and then it kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Finally, you know, I don't have a garage now. I was telling you guys that the 2-car garage is really just a house with a storage unit, and the cars are parked outside. So you start to, again,
all the crap.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys notice it, but I don't have a lot of hair, and that comes from a lot of stress. It's also hereditary. But when I live in the US, my life was intense all the time. I owned my own business. I had 2 kids. I was doing all the things. I had all the responsibilities and all of the expectations that are kind of laid on you and pushed on you. And I didn't know how to manage my stress well either. So there was a lot of learning and growing that had to happen over the decades. But it's hard when you're in an environment that is quite literally a rat race, where you're always trying to keep up with filling the garage with crap and making sure that you're keeping up with the Joneses and all of the things. No offense to the Joneses that I know. But there was a huge shift that happened to me when I packed a carry-on bag and I bought a one-way ticket and moved to Bali. There was a mental check that happened to where I started to finally release those things, and I started to feel healthier. I started to have more energy, and I started to open up even more. As an extrovert, I open up a lot anyway, but I was able to open up even more to who people are and not what they do, and who people are and not who they want to appear to be. And I think that's a big deal in the US. I think also in Australia, there's a lot of status.
The first question is, even when you're on a date, it's like, what do you do? You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, where can I categorize you?
Yeah.
You know?
Versus where are you from?
Yeah.
Or
why did
what
you come
brought
here?
you here? Yeah.
Are you hungry?
Like what's the latest restaurant that you just
Exactly.
went to?
I honestly think as well, when you're meeting people overseas, digital nomads or anything, they cut out of the pretense and who they are.
There's a lot more depth. There's a lot more depth in the conversations. I think it's interestingly enough, the thing that my host said a couple of nights ago as we were sitting and enjoying a glass of wine is he said, you know, I love Americans, but overall what I've noticed is that they tend to be a bit shallow. And that was, I don't take offense to that because I'm not, but I thought to myself, wow, that's definitely something that I can relate with when talking to Americans. There's kind of, they just kind of stop here, and there's not a lot more that goes further. And when you're a traveler and you leave your small town of Kansas City, or I left, you know, my Phoenix, Arizona that I was born and raised in, you start to see the world differently. My first trip was, I was 13 years old. I went to London and I was taking the tube with all the other 13-year-olds to go to school, and you're seeing different cultures. People had, different colors of skin, different languages, you're trying different foods. You can't just be stuck in your little bubble. You have to force yourself. Your worldview just becomes expanded.
Yeah.
And what Justin was saying about the nervous system is that when you start, how do I put this? You share your nervous system with other people. So when you start to meet other people that have like a calm demeanor about them and like don't really get upset and just kind of take life less seriously, you start to adopt that.
Yeah,
but if
that's
you
true.
were to bring like a New Yorker over to here or to Bali, like they're gonna struggle because they're used to being in this like very high pressure go environment, and traveling and being in other countries forces you to calm down because people aren't willing to, like, people are not going to meet you there if you're coming at them with that like intensity. They're going to be like, whoa, dude, like let's go have some wine and chill.
You must be American.
You must be American. That's exactly what they say. It's like, oh, here comes the Americans. So I think there's a beauty in being able to slow down and to regulate your nervous system.
I mean, I think also if you're thinking of doing this big jump to get out of America, first thing you made that big step in your mind. So you're actually already open-minded. So when you go there, you're already open-minded. And I think you should just keep on like grabbing everything. Like, oh my God, the culture here, the history here, like learn about it.
And
like,
don't be an American in Paris.
Yes.
Be a Parisian in Paris.
I was gonna say the same thing. The biggest mistake I see Americans make when they go overseas is they try to bring their America or their expectations or their entitlement with them, and they don't embrace what's around them. So I'm trying to be friendly. I try to learn the language, and it's not offensive when you make an effort to learn the language or learn the accent a little bit, only so that they can understand what I'm saying.
To be a guest, to be a
guest.
as a house guest, right? You're respectful. You're not walking on the carpets when they don't want your shoes on the carpet. Like they, in Japan, you take your shoes off. Like you do the things to assimilate to the culture, including taking a siesta when the stores are closed because you can't go to the grocery store.
It's actually closed during the afternoon, and that's when we have lunch, and it's like, well, we can't. Everyone's taking a break. We're gonna take a break.
We're gonna take a break, and that's a big thing. Lifestyle change. That lifestyle change. It's all up in here. It's all up in your head and in your heart. But once you get out of that rat race and you start to learn lifestyles in other countries, have their benefits and their have their positives and their negatives, but it's something that you can also embrace, and that's really cool.
And I have hope for America that enough of us will leave, or there will be a shift, or it will reach a tipping point where we can start to remember why we are Americans, and what when the family structure will come back, and we will start to get costs down. We'll take better care of ourselves. I think there is a revolution happening with people our age that want to see America succeed, but I think there might be some growing pains in the meantime. And in the meantime, you can do some traveling and see how the other world lives and go back. I mean, I don't live permanently outside as Dustin does and Marie do. I go back, but I leave from time to time to reset my system and so that I can bring back the things that I see in other countries that I wish that we had more of in America, the things that we're talking to you about today.
So while the new American dream is probably leaving America, or at least for a season, you need to really hone in on who you are and who you want to be. You don't have to live up to other people's expectations, and you can define a life that works for you. And everyone does it a little bit differently. Marie did it differently. Sarah does it differently. I've done it differently, but it's leading us to a place where we can find a life worth living.
Also, worst case scenario, if you don't like it, the worst case scenario is you just buy a return ticket home.
Yeah.
But you can have a little mini holiday in between.
My suggestion is leave America, see what else is out there. You can always go back, or you might fall in love, or you might decide that it's just not the place that you want to be anymore. For us, we continue to love our home country. I love America. I'm very proud to be an American, but the world is a very, very big place. So be an explorer, go out there, see the world. And I hope that you got value from this video and we shared our experience. Get on the plane.
Guys, this is Sunsets and Speakeasies. If you really enjoyed this video, if you'd love to see more of this content, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. That really helps us out. And if you have any questions whatsoever, leave a comment down below and we'll be glad to answer it and help you on your journey.
Bye.
See you later.